In this video, I'm meeting up with an amazing young entrepreneur here in Eugene, Oregon called Gerald. He and his business partner, Cameron, have managed to build this business, Softwash Pros LLC, basically from nothing to a leading business in the industry here in Eugene, Oregon. We're going to learn about their story, what it takes to start such a business, how do they get customers, what it takes to scale up such a business, and is it profitable? Let's dive into this video and learn and relearn. Thank you so much, Gerald, for making time to talk to us about your business and inspire these people out there. Yeah, I would really like to know your story. And take it over. Tell us what you're doing before this business, what made you start this business, and especially the moment that you thought, oh my God, I could actually do this as a business.
Sure. So what was I doing before this business? It's a great question because I'm sure like many people my age who are younger, I tried to go to college. And unfortunately, it was during the whole COVID era. So it was all that online learning. And unfortunately, I don't learn that well that way. So I decided to leave college and I did some tree service work. I did some wildland firefighting. I had a great time doing that. I highly recommend. But there was one day I was scrolling YouTube like I'm sure a lot of us do, and I saw a video of this guy saying, hey, I'm making $50 an hour, $50 an hour washing windows. And I just thought, wow, that is a crazy amount of money to be washing windows. So I thought about it, and I knew I always wanted to start my own business because I always think that's a great way to build wealth when done properly. So I thought, okay, I'll start with window cleaning. So I went to Lowe's or Home Depot. I bought myself some supplies. I went on YouTube, watched some tutorials, and I practiced on my parents' property till I was good. And then I went door knocking, got my first clients, and that's where I really started. That's where I got my start, was window cleaning. The moment where I really thought, you know what, this is something I can transform into a business and not just be like some little side hustle like we hear all the time, it was about a year in, and I decided I didn't want to go work for somebody else because I was doing it on the side. And it was really just some encouragement of others and a little bit of jumping into it. And I decided to make it work full time. And here we are now. And I couldn't be more grateful.
That is really interesting. I mean, to be honest, I really appreciate people who start businesses from nothing. I mean, teach themselves, get into the wheel, get it moving, and look at what you're having right now. This is one of the biggest washing companies in and around Eugene here in Oregon. So tell us what it takes to really start a business like this.
Sure. So I would say number one is you have to have the mindset for it. You have to be relentless. You have to be able to work long hours with little to no pay. And you really honestly have to always put others before yourself, especially when you're working with a team or when you start to hire people. Your people that you work with come first. I would say that's number one, is your mindset. Number two, it's you can get into this business for as little to around $5,000 to $10,000 or so. You can just buy some basic equipment and build it yourself. And that's a great budget option. You just have to do some digging, some researching, that'll better suit you for the future. I can't tell you how many times it's come in handy that I started cheap, I built my own stuff. So now when I'm buying all these more expensive pieces of equipment, I understand how everything works. So when something breaks down, I can properly fix it. But there's just basic equipment like a pressure washer, a 12-volt pump for soft washing, basic hand cleaning tools for windows. And honestly, it's like $5,000 to $10,000 on the, middle side. If you go even cheaper, but that's where I would start.
Oh, great. What about the legal requirements for you to start a business in a state like Oregon?
Sure. So the nice part about Oregon is when it comes to cleaning, you do not need a CCB. That's a license for contractors, and you have to get a bond, all that fun jazz. And we don't have to do that since we're cleaning.
Yeah.
So we just need a basic state license from the state, and then we need to get commercial liability insurance, and that's pretty much it. And you can start window cleaning from there.
How was your first 90 days?
First 90 days. Well, it was pretty nerve-wracking because I decided to go full-time in January, which in this line of business is one of our slowest months out of the year, January and February. And so there was a lot of, just clenching the fists and trying to get out there, meet different people, promote the business, and really just kind of get any work you can. I always say if you're starting out, they say never sell yourself. Oh my gosh. They say to never sell yourself short. Yeah. But when you're starting out, you don't have a choice. Do work for free. Show people the amazing job you do, and then those people will refer you. That's the biggest piece of advice that I wish I did, because I was always trying to charge people money for my services. When sometimes if you do it for free, they're just going to refer you, and you're going to build your business network from there. So the first 90 days was a lot of clenching of the fists and really just going out, meeting people, and doing all the jobs that I could just to stay afloat from the bills.
Great. What about now you've started the business? How long did it take for you to have a return on investments? At least, for the money, for the resources you've used to start this business.
Sure. So as I said, startup costs are probably between $5,000 to $10,000. If you have the proper mindset and you're going after it, you can easily make that back in easily 1 month. Even if you're a really go-getter, you can get it back in 2 weeks. So the initial investment you can recoup pretty quickly. It's where it's going to get you is maintaining that level of revenue for the preceding months, and then actually turning a profit so that you can actually pull money for yourself. My biggest piece of advice is be willing to go without a paycheck for at least 3 months when starting your business, because then you'll be able to take risks that a lot of people normally wouldn't take.
You're not charging people for the services you're giving. Okay, so by the fact that you're not charging them, and let's say you are doing it for the first time, and you might not be really good as someone who has been in the industry for very long. Does that mean that if you make a mistake, people are going to be lenient on you? I mean, your clients are going to be lenient on you because you haven't charged them money.
Yes and no. I'll say first and foremost, if you have great character, like you just show you're an honest person. And I would say this, if you're always honest with your clients, they will back you up, especially if they're the people you would want to work with. Most people, we're all human. And especially if you're younger and you're trying to start a business, people love to see that. So really, if you show that you always want to make things right, they're always going to be very lenient with you, and they'll even help you along the way. You just got to work with the right people. And the nice part is 95% of people out there, they're human and they're really good people.
Great. Now, you talked about the hardest part is maintaining the revenue that you're getting. We've talked about you getting the first clients. Probably it's your relative, and maybe your relative refers you to somebody, and after the referrals have now stopped, okay, and you wanna get more clients. How do you get more customers when you don't have as much referrals during your starting period?
So there is a couple different ways to go about it. I'm very thankful that we live in the digital age. So we have social media, we have Google, we have websites, all that stuff. I would probably start with getting a website. If you have a website that was professional with photos of you, I would say show your face. People want to work with other humans. They don't want to work with some unnamed business. Show photos on your website. Another thing would be start getting Google reviews. When you have Google reviews, at least you can point to an external source of verification of expertise, because other people trust you. The way I did it was I did Google ads, and that's how I have grown my business, is strictly through Google ads. And that just goes through having a great website, great content, and then always backing it up with great work.
How much money do you spend on Google Ads in a month?
Are we talking about when I first started or about now?
Walk us through when you started. When you first started using Google Ads, and at this point.
Sure. So when I first started using Google Ads, I was probably spending between $500 to $1,000 a month. And I'll be honest, paying money for ads is very scary because you're not sure if you're going to get a return on it. And the last thing you want to do is be in the hole for another $1,000.
Yeah.
That is why, what I did was I found an external marketing team that after you vet them properly, they would come in and you're at least going to break even. So find a good marketing company and then have an ad spend at least between $500 to $1,000 a month, and you should be good. But it's kind of reliant on a good marketing team, or you learn to do it yourself.
Now you've gotten the clients, okay? You've called people, you have leads, people expressing interest in the service they want to get from you. How do you go about pricing?
So I would say this, from the moment that we have someone who's interested in our services, we are trying to make their experience with the company just amazing. We want every step of the way to be easy, simple, and yet, just a great feeling. So it all starts with the phone call. And then we'll come out for a free in-person assessment. Now, your question, how do we price for this kind of thing, is the most important factor in pricing for any business is you have to know your numbers. You have to know your expenses. You have to know your labor costs. You have to know all these things so that you can charge appropriately, charge as much as your expenses, plus a little bit more so that you can actually make money. Because a lot of people, what they will do is they'll think, okay, I'm making $100 an hour. I'm making $200 an hour. I'm making money. But the problem is they don't realize it, but their expenses at the end of the month add up to $100, $200 an hour, and they're left with nothing. So the easiest way to price for stuff is to figure out what is your expenses per month, divide that per hour, and then when you go to bid something, make sure you're pricing for that as well as extra for profit.
Let's talk about the business partner. We never touched about the story of Cameron.
Yes, so Cameron, I just want to say, I'm very pleased to have Cameron as my business partner. He was actually my very first employee, and from there, he believed in the mission of Softwash Pros, and he wanted to come in as a partner, and so we made it happen, and I really couldn't be happier.
Do you always join them on the job site, so you leave it up to them to do the tasks?
So that is sometimes yes and sometimes no. So what we have done is that the team that we have now in place they're very experienced, because when I first hired them, I was with them on every job, or Cameron, my business partner, was them on every job, showing them everything, showing them what to do, making sure that now we can just leave them and we know for a fact that they are going to do a great job. And there's always little stops you can put in place, like a checklist, because we're all human. We all forget things. And so if you have a little checklist for them to check off at the end of a job, that job is going to be done well and be completed on time.
Good. What are some of the tools that you use on your day-to-day basis while delivering services to your customers? And by tools, I'm talking about apps, management apps. What do you use?
Yes. So I wish someone told me this in the beginning, but whenever you start your business, get a CRM. A CRM is a customer relationship management software. You need to keep track of all your clients in one place. And ideally, there's tools out there like Markate, Jobber, House Call Pro, where you have all your clients in one place. You can put them on a calendar, you can schedule, you can do estimates, invoicing, stuff like that. It's all in one place. I highly, highly recommend getting that very first thing. And so for us, what we use currently, we have a couple different. We use what's called Markate, but we are switching to a new software called Jobber, just because we're getting bigger. We're kind of outgrowing the CRM. Another tool I use probably every couple of days is QuickBooks Online. That's just to keep track of our finances, to know exactly where we're at, if we're making money, if we're not.
Tell these guys what you've learned and how you go about delivering service to your clients? I mean, how do you wash? I mean, which chemicals do you use? I mean,
Sure.
what should you watch for?
Okay. So I would say there's a wide variety that we do.
Yeah.
I'll pick, for instance, roof cleaning. That's probably one of our biggest services that we offer.
Yeah.
And what roof cleaning is, it's trying to remove moss. Most of the time it's moss or debris off the roof because moss traps moisture. It can grow between shingles. It can break that bond, and you can start having moisture leak into your attic, and that can start mold or it can start leaking. So taking care of moss is very important. And the reason why we get debris off roofs is because that just harbors a great environment for moss to grow. So if we get rid of the debris, the moss doesn't grow. So how do we go about roof cleaning? It's a great question. So, and also when we pull up, we're making sure we're not blocking people. We don't want to park in their driveway. Yeah. We're guests into our clients' homes, and we take that very seriously. So we pull up, we always meet up with a client and just confirm the scope of work. And we're always having to be nice, personal, and professional. We're always wearing our branded clothes. We're never cussing around our clients. Even though we work in a blue collar space, we never cuss around our clients. We're always respectful. From there, we confirm the scope of work. We roll out our hoses and we start doing the whole cleaning process. When it comes to roofs, we'll get up there, we'll blow off all the big chunks of debris. For moss, if there's really big chunks of moss, we'll just knock it off with a broom. We're really trying not to scrape the roof. You'll see a lot of people out there with metal brushes or stuff like that, and they're getting all the moss off, which is, looks good, but the problem is the shingles are taking a beating. You'll see all the rocks just start to just fall off. And so after we get the big chunks of moss off and we get all the roof debris, we'll then clean out all the gutters and then flush the downspouts. Just because we want to make sure everything is flowing properly and we're not clogging up anywhere.
Yeah.
From there, we do our soft wash process. Our base chemical is called sodium hypochlorite. That's basically bleach. That's the active ingredient in Clorox and every household good you can buy at Walmart. That's the active ingredient. And we just buy industrial grade. And then we dilute it to the proper ratio with a appropriate soap to kind of help it get activated and kind of stick. We gently apply that through the whole roof. We're talking very gently, like a garden hose. Yeah. It's very gentle. And after we apply it, usually within about 5 to 10 minutes, the moss just completely dies. It turns like a bright white. Wow. And from there, we come down the ladder. We clean up all the roof debris because we want to leave the place cleaner than when we arrived. Yeah. And from there, we pack up. We let the client know. We do a walk around. We really make sure that they are completely satisfied with the work. And then we pack up and we leave. And that's pretty much how we do a roof cleaning service.
Great. I mean, I was with you when you were doing 2 houses at a certain, it looked like a suburb. So how much would you charge for one of those houses?
Sure. So, the charging can vary between houses because, 2-story tile roof is going to be completely different than a single story. So when we look at it, what we're trying to do is we have, as I said, we have our expenses per hour. And we're trying to charge for a profit. So for us, we're, for a lot of soft washing companies, the average is between like $250 an hour to $350 an hour. So if we go into a single story house and we know, hey, it's only going to take about 2.5 hours, maybe 3. We'll charge between $550 to like $750. And that can kind of go up from there depending on how long the cleaning will take.
How long have you been in the business, by the way?
This will be our 3rd year in this business.
Good. That's a quite substantial time. For you to learn the ropes, change a lot of things. So at this point, do you charge the same way you used to charge when you started?
Unfortunately not. When I first started, charging was a lot more simple. What I used to do for windows is I would say, well, you know what? There are 25 panes and I'm going to charge $5-7 per pane. With like concrete, we'd be like, okay, how many square feet is there? Okay, there's about 1,000 square feet, and I'm going to charge 25 cents a square foot, so it's going to be $250. So we used to have unit-based pricing. We would just calculate the square footage. Quick note, using Google Earth to calculate square footage is a phenomenal idea.
Really?
Yes.
Good.
It's cheap, and it's free, and it's perfect.
How do you do it using Google Earth?
It's pretty simple. You just, either on your phone or online, you just Google it.
Yeah.
You pull up the address in the search bar.
Yeah.
And then you zoom in, and there's a little tool that says measure.
Yeah.
And you just click it, you zoom into the property, and you just measure the square footage of what you're trying to do, and it'll kind of tell you on the side.
Wow, that is smart.
Yeah.
I was looking into that when I was starting my painting business, going around doing estimates, and I had to go through a lot of pain to get like the square footage of houses. I'm definitely gonna start. I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Yes, the Google Earth is a great tool. Highly recommend.
Great. Tell us about scaling up the business. We had a talk earlier on, and you mentioned you want to scale up. You're about to, match or go beyond what your competitors are doing in terms of your services, and in terms of your capabilities and reach. Okay, tell us, what does it take for you to scale up this business?
Yes, so great question. What does it take to scale? I would say number one is education. Me and Cameron, we invest heavily every month into business coaching.
Yeah.
So we have people who are not in our business looking at it from an outsider's perspective and giving us advice on how we should act, what strategies to use, etc. You'd be surprised that most people, they hop into business blind and they just kind of go off what they read on the internet rather than having someone who's experienced in business and successful, that's the key part, successful, kind of help guiding you through how to grow your company. So number one would be business coaches. Number two is, once again, going back, you got to be willing not taking a paycheck. For the first couple of years, I haven't taken a paycheck. And I was just living on some savings. I was living with my parents. So I was really able just to save every bit of money and just put it towards a business. Number three would be, take that money that you're saving, invest it into advertising and marketing. The reason why most companies don't grow is because no one knows that they exist. So the more you're out there, the more you're going out meeting people through networking groups, doing Facebook social posts, running Google ads, doing everything just to get your name out there. That is the easiest way to scale, is you just got to be known. And hopefully known for good work.
Oh, great. The idea of starting your own business and creating wealth and working for yourself, having that freedom to work whenever you have it, seems really cool. And a lot of people venture into businesses only to realize, this is not my thing.
Yeah.
So what do people get wrong when starting businesses?
So what do people get wrong? There's a couple things. I think you said something is, most people start a business on false expectations. They think, I'll be able to work when I want. I'll be able to make more money. Yeah. I'll be able to have more free time. I'll be able to spend time with my family. Yeah. And those are all really good things. But the problem is 95% of the time when you're starting a business, especially from scratch, you don't have those luxury. You don't have the freedom to work. When you want, you have to work all the time. Yeah. You have to put in sweat equity. You have to put in all these things. You have to sacrifice time with your family. Not always, but for the majority of people, that's what you have to do. So that would be number one, is they hop into business with false expectations. Yeah. Another big thing that I see is lack of focus. So for instance, what a lot of people will do is they'll hop into pressure washing, for instance, or window cleaning. And they get some success, they're making some money. And then what happens is they see another service. They see, I should go into lawn mowing. I should go into landscaping or something in construction. And then they branch out while they're still trying to do pressure washing. Yeah. So what happens is they start hopping from thing to thing to thing, never truly becoming an expert or master in one of them. Yeah. And by the end of the day is they're just now having so many projects on their plate that everything's kind of being done not optimally. And so eventually they just kind of burn out because they're trying to run so many different projects instead of focusing just on one.
Oh, nice. You mentioned Now, this person of people start these businesses, then they realize, there's a lot you have to give into business, especially into a business, especially if you're starting it from scratch. Now, that begs the question: is it easier to start a business from scratch, or is it easier to buy an existing business?
Great question. So I did both. So I started my company from scratch. It was originally called Mirror Exteriors.
Oh.
And that's where I got my start with the whole door knocking. And that's where I built my trailer, I bought my truck, and I was seeing success from there. Softwash Pros was actually a friend of mine's. It was his company, and he wanted to get out of the business. He had another business opportunity come up, and he wanted to take advantage of it. So I simply bought the company from him, and I would say it was a great decision. Though you have to vet the company, you have to do your due diligence. But I learned a lot in the whole process, and I'm very grateful that I did.
Good. So tell us, and this is the most juicy part of it, and you don't have to get into detail, especially due to privacy reasons, but tell us something close to, hint on what do the numbers look like?
Sure.
How much are you able to make in a month, for example, or in a year, for example?
Sure. So the nice part about the whole pressure washing and soft washing business is that it is a very high margin business. What that means is your expenses are relatively low for the amount that you can charge. So what a lot of people do in this business is they become a solo operator, or they have one helper. And you can easily make your gross revenue will probably be like $250,000, $350,000, and you'll net at least $150,000. So you can easily make around $8,000 to $12,000 a month personally, just running the business by yourself and with a helper. Now you are going to be working a lot, but you can easily make that amount just by yourself and with a helper. As you scale up, which is where the period we're in, there's a lot of growing pains, which means there's not a lot of money we're reinvesting in the business. So personally, we're not making a lot of money, but we know in a few years that we will be.
What are the challenges associated with running Softwash business? What are those things that people never see? You've been there for 3 years. Sure enough, you've seen some things that you never expected, or some things that you still struggle with.
Okay, so you're asking really what are my current struggles now in the stage that we're at?
What are the challenges associated with running this type of business?
Sure. So where we're at right now, the biggest struggle that I'm learning through is people. This business now is not about me. It's not about me. It's not about Cameron. It's about everybody in the company. It's about every team member. So really the challenge that I'm working through is how to properly lead people so that they want to work for me, and that we're all unified towards a mission. Another part is, as I said, going back to scaling, the biggest one, another challenge is marketing and advertising. We're really trying to get our name out there more. We're trying to really get our reputation really well known as the best soft washing company here in Eugene. And, it's hard to do that, but, it's a fight that I'm willing to do.
What has been your biggest shift from the previous 2 years, ever since you started this business?
So really big mindset shift that I really am now implementing this year is really understand that every client we serve, they are our client for life. They do business with us. We want to do business with them in the future. So we really want to focus on their whole experience with us being amazing. And so I really wasn't focused on that, so I would forget to do follow-ups. We wouldn't have a process in place to, check in with our clients, make sure they're doing well, make sure their concrete's staying clean, make sure there's no more moss on the roof, stuff like that. And so we have really left that key piece and really making sure that the customer always knows where they stand and where we are there to serve them. So for instance, last year we did 614 projects. That's so much opportunity on the business side that we have left out because we didn't follow up with them. We're not checking in on them. And we really honestly kind of let them stranded. They don't know if we're going to come back again. They don't know if we're going to reach out again. And we really kind of left that key piece unattended. And so that's really moving into 2026. Every client that works with us, they're always going to know where we stand. They're always going to stay in contact with us, or we'll stay in contact with them. Even if they don't need us, we want to share value, and we really want to be their trusted maintenance company.
Great. That's impressive. If somebody took away your reputation today, they take away your equipment, they take away your employees, they take away everything from you, where would you start?
Honestly, I'd probably start with door knocking and window cleaning, because it's very cheap to get into, and if you have basic sales skills, and you can build up a lot of capital really quickly. You could probably do around 15 to 20K a month just in window cleaning, door to door. So that's probably where I would start. I would get capital, and once again go heavily into the whole digital space. Get my social media going, get my Google going, getting Google reviews. From there, I would get another marketing company in, and I would have them start performing all those services like Google Ads, SEO, website development and such. And then I would just budget. I would not take a paycheck, and I would just grind, doing door to door if I didn't have enough work, or doing that until we started getting leads from my social media. That's where I would start.
Good. I really want to end this video from here at this point, but I'm tempted to ask, what does the future look like for your company? I have to ask that, and especially with AI, with innovation, what does the future look like for you and Softwash Pros?
Sure. So what does the future look like for Softwash Pros? I would say I'm very optimistic. Luckily with stuff like AI, that's not really going to affect our industry, just because you can't replace hand labor yet. However, AI will be incorporated into the business just to increase automation, so that we don't have to put so much manual work in. But we don't ever want to become a company where we lose a personal touch with all our clients. We want them to feel secure that they're talking to a human being and that they're dealing with real people. As for where we want to go, honestly, we are trying to open up multiple branches. We are trying to become a multi-million-dollar company in the next few years. And ultimately, maybe we'll try and sell. We don't know. But right now, we're just focusing on the team, trying to increase the number of clients, and really just get a great reputation.
Great. Thank you so much for taking your time to inspire us, educate us, and show us that this is real, and getting people to who really want to. Businesses are not for everybody. Who really want to get into it, and
No, thank you. This is great. I love doing it.
I'm impressed by what you've built. Yeah. So if you watched this video up until this point and you like it, remember to give me a thumbs up, comment down below, let us know what you're thinking, and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.